It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. It is your feel-good breakfast show, and you're just in time because we're going to create the perfect scene with lights and lamps that create depth, height, and draw attention to the most special areas in your home. And here to tell us more about decorative lighting is architectural designer Zeanne Duminy. I always want to say agriculture, but it's architectural designer.
We've had that before, architects, yeah.
I don't know where that little tongue twister comes from, but I love the fact that there are beautiful lamps in front of me. And when it comes to adding lighting to your space, you coming from the design and architectural background, what importance does light play in a space?
So lights are so important in space because they can create a focal point as well as being so functional. We all need light in our lives, but to be able to use a light to actually create a focal point, a center of a room, or highlight a small space in a corner of a room, such as these lamps, that's what really makes them so wonderful and add that magic touch to a space.
And we love that magic touch. Now let's talk about the decorative lighting and how we can also use lamps to add to a space.
So lights have recently become very trendy as being actually sculptural pieces. So decorative lights are so fantastic because, again, they not only function, but they're creating almost small pieces of art in corners of your home or big pieces of art in the center of a room, offset, such as a beautiful pendant. And that's how lighting can be used in both a very interesting way, as well as, again, the function of us needing light.
I know, I love this. So I'm seeing this light bulb in front of me and it kind of like, it hits you. This is a cool white light bulb.
Yes, it is.
I know people there are some that love them, my dad's one of them, but if you have too many of them in a space, it can really make a place feel cold. How important is light to warm a space up?
It's such a good question. I'm also a warm bulb kind of a girl, but cool light has its function, you know. I think it gives a more clinical feeling to a space, and sometimes that gives entrusted feelings of things being clean. A warm light, again, gives a more cozy feeling to a space. Another trend, a feeling of wellness, you know.
I love that.
Yeah.
And now let's talk about Woolies, the newness. They've got a great range available and you've brought some of them here. I mean, should we start with these pendants?
So the mesh pendant is such a great pendant from Woolworths because I think the interesting thing about it is we often forget about shadow with lights. And the mesh pendant, you can use a beautiful filament bulb, which can then add another layer to the space. And then the shadow that it throws through this light is just so beautiful. Again, talking about sculpture, you can group the mesh pendants. You can have 2 or 3 at different levels, just like they hung over here. And it really creates a beautiful focal point in a room. I love the bronze as well, which is such a lovely color at the moment.
It really is. And it just brings a hint of elegance, but not too fancy into your home,
Absolutely.
if I can speak in those terms. And then we have these interesting lamps. For me, a lampshade and the base is always so important. So let's unpack these beautiful ones we have in front of us.
So there's another trend in light design at the moment that's got to do with materiality. And in all these lights, you can see beautiful coppers. In the mushroom lamp over here from Woolworths, you can see it's got the most beautiful copper base. Again, these lamps, these are the Max lamps from Woolworths.
And they've got the marble base,
which is so great. So just a little elegant touch, and again, beautiful for a bedroom. I think the mushroom lamp can be used in an office or in a sculptural lounge situation. These, you know, the mesh lamps really can be used anywhere. Again, I'd say it's so wonderful to group them. Imagine 10 of them over a dining room table.
Oh,
it's absolutely beautiful.
I can picture that.
Absolutely. And the Hudson over here, I mean, again, this is very sculptural. It just kind of, the lamp just kind of floats off the table, doesn't ground it too much, which is another element that can be used cleverly in design.
Now, you're the perfect person to ask this for. How do you pick the perfect bedside table lamp? Do you go according to the size of your bedside table and get a lamp that fits it? Because the bigger the better for me, but if you have a tiny bedside table, it's always so difficult to have this beautiful lamp next to you. So how would you go about picking the right lamp for next to your bed?
Well, let's think out the box. So something that could be really cool if you don't have any space at all is to hang a lamp from your ceiling. So you could have two beautiful Hudson lamps, pendant mesh lamps, hanging next to your bed, and that really adds it elevates the space. Otherwise, you just have to go with very, very practical, because you don't want to be knocking a light off when if you've got less space. And then I would definitely go for something like the Max lamp over here. It's got a linen, so it's a diffused light, it's a soft light, and in a bedroom, that's really what you want, that luxury, soft, cocooning, cozy feeling. And these lamps with their different color shades are perfect for that.
They really are. I love that we get to play with light and really bring a space to life, which is incredible. Now, any final tips that you perhaps have for someone that's maybe looking at ways to incorporate more lamps into their living space, their lounge? Because, you know, load shedding, it is real, but if you have a small inverter or a small little UPS, lamps are an easy way to bring a light back into your space during those load shedding moments. So for a lounge, what would be the ideal lamps to bring in?
I think in a lounge you can go larger. So, you know, the Hudson, you can really play with size in a lounge. Generally, there's more space in a lounge. But the most wonderful thing about lamps and lights and table lights is that they can be changed. So they can really update and bring your home into that little bit of a more trendy space, because they can be changed, which is so fantastic. And you can see that with this range over here. Just changing a light or two can elevate the space and make it different altogether.
Oh, I love this. I love these pendant lights that you've shown us. Zeanne, it's always so great to have you here.
Okay.
Thank you for joining us today. And if you love these incredible lamps, these incredible pendants, all of these are available at Woolworths. You can shop them in store, online, as well as on the Woolies app.